Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Tea Time with Sahdi and Omni, where we drink the tea and spill the tea about our weekly spiritual practices. I'm Omni,
And I'm Sahdi.
and today's episode is all about dark feminine rage. We're going to go into the nature of dark feminine rage, the mythos and spiritual archetypes, the forgotten ceremonies, the psychological and physiological wisdom that goes into it, and how to honor your feminine rage, and much, much more.
And tonight we're going to be centered around feminine rage. And it's not to divide us between male and females, but I feel like this is a really important topic because the feminine rage has been misunderstood and mislabeled for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
It's been exiled pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's been called hysterical and unhinged and crazy. And the masculine rage has a lot of times been seen as justified and powerful
And praise.
and, righteous and praised as strength. We're not here to compare pain at all. We're here to liberate it right now. So, to all the men that are listening, your pain and rage really does matter too. And your trauma and your grief and your generational silencing and the armor that you've had to wear just to survive. We see that, and we will devote a sacred space to that story. But tonight, we're holding the flame for the feminine fire.
And every man is a son of a mother. So you have something to gain from understanding this as well.
Exactly. So stay with us. You're welcome here too for that exact reason.
Yeah.
So you're not separate from this. We're one consciousness, and it takes all of us to understand each other, overstand each other. The masculine does help hold the feminine. And if you're a man, you identify as a divine masculine, stay with us because there's going to be some really powerful things in here that might resonate with you to help
lead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to help empower the divine feminine in your lives, whether it's your mother, your daughter, your sisters, your family, friends, partners, whatever the case may be. So let's jump into this.
Yes. So when we talk about dark feminine rage, we want to get into the nature of it. Harnessing your dark feminine rage is not about losing control, it's about reclaiming it. So this energy lives in the marrow of our bones, in the belly of our wombs, in the breath that we've been holding for generations. It's not new, it's not ancient, it's primal, and it passes through bloodlines, stories, and also silences. We've been taught to fear it, like Sadi, you were saying, to numb it, to call it hysteria and drama and weakness.
Yeah.
But the fire beneath the surface, it's not dysfunctional. It's not bad. It's not dark. It's divine intelligence. It's a part of you that says no more when you've been pushed too far, which I've been there.
We all have.
Yeah. It's when you bite your tongue to protect yourself and the wildness you dull to make others comfortable, which we've all put ourselves in boxes. And it's not okay. Like we said in one of our past episodes, we say, we're fine. We're not fine. That's not okay.
Right.
We're not born to live in boxes. And it's not just emotion, it's a spiritual force. And you can utilize it as such.
Oh, yeah. To anybody listening that does chaos magic, you can use this rage in your craft.
And you can use it to help release as well. It's a very powerful force within you. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to rebirth you.
Right.
So when you think about your dark feminine rage, don't look at it as a negativity. Look at it as a sacred fire that you can utilize as a tool to become a higher version of yourself.
Right. For me, when I was growing up, I grew up watching women working full time, raising kids, cooking meals before their husbands got home from work. That was the normal back then. They had to keep the house spotless. They had to hold the marriage together because if the marriage fell apart, it was their fault. And still, on top of everything else, they were expected to stay sexy. The Jane Fonda workouts. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell my age right now. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, but they had to stay sweet and smart and quiet. They were told that they had to do all that, but they couldn't fall apart. I personally watched women carry entire households on their backs while being told their emotions weren't allowed to be shown. And that's how I was raised. And that's the kind of neighborhood that I grew up in. You couldn't be unstable back then. And it wasn't just the men, it was the women too.
There's a perception of them being in this perfect nuclear family.
Exactly. Everything had to be picture perfect, right?
White picket fence. That's the dream.
Yeah. So everybody was fake.
Yep.
They were probably freaking out on the inside, but they would have their morning coffees and everybody would take their walks in the morning and say hi with big smiles on their face.
Right.
And it really wasn't like that. But nobody wanted to be labeled as crazy or a bad parent or whatever back then. So, God forbid you cry in public or you have a meltdown or say something that was real, because then you're crazy. Now you're emotional. Now you're unattractive.
Right. Hysterical.
But it's so different, especially in America, because when you really look at tribal and indigenous cultures, when grief hits them, when something goes wrong in their life, they have complete meltdowns, and that's normal. It's not just normal, but it's the way that it's supposed to be. They scream, they start beating on the ground, their body starts to move, their rage is witnessed by the entire fucking tribe.
And supported.
Oh yeah, the whole tribe comes together and they're like, this pain is too much for one body. Let us carry it with you.
Getting chills.
Right. And now we're so far away from that and so far away from our spirit. What do? We cry in showers.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking that. Or in your bed by yourself.
Yeah, underneath the covers, we don't move.
Yeah.
We'll shut the door and we'll stay in our room for days and just cry and not move our body at all. Not want to see anybody, not let anybody in.
We hide our emotions, our sorrow, and our rage from our children.
And then we'll post a picture with a black heart on social media, RIP, or my heart's broken. Say a prayer for me.
Yeah.
We give somebody a 2-minute hug at a funeral and say, stay strong.
Yeah.
They're in a better place. Or we say these 2-minute,
sorry for your loss.
Sorry for your loss. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And no shame on anyone that's done this. This is what we've been conditioned to do.
Yeah, this is just bringing awareness.
Yeah.
Because I've done it too.
Yeah.
When someone passes away or somebody gets their heart broken or someone goes through something so traumatic, we don't know what to do because we whisper our grief.
Yeah.
And we've done that for so many generations and we've swallowed it with a sip of wine. You know what I mean? And we call that maturity.
Right.
This is how grown-ups do it. This is how civilized people do it. We're trying to be polite. And our inner selves, our primal selves, our tribal, true selves is inside of us just begging to be seen and heard. And that feminine rage, we don't know how to scream anymore. And society has taught us that a suppressed woman is a safe woman. And that feminine rage is scary.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
A quiet woman is a strong woman. Yep.
And if we scream, we're broken.
Or crazy.
Yeah, we're too much. Or we get that side-eyed like, oh my God, what's wrong with her?
Yep.
We forgot how to scream and how to move and how to rage with purpose. I'm not saying be violent, but we should have permission to be human.
Right.
That is a human response. And we've been shut out from that part of us. And that's a huge part of the divine feminine rage, is to be able to do that. Scream like the earth does when she splits.
Yeah.
Like thunder and lightning and volcanoes, tornadoes, storms. And we're supposed to be doing that. Imagine losing somebody that you love. And instead of just empty condolences, everybody you know shows up. And they show up in spirit. They come to you, your friends, your family, your kids, your elders, the people who love you the most. They come and they hold you through it. Not just for a couple hours, not just for a day, but for as long as it takes. Right. Days, weeks, it doesn't matter. They stay there with you. They take turns, they take shifts. And they don't ask you to be strong. They don't tell you to move on, They don't flinch when you're screaming and shaking and crying. They wrap blankets around you. They drink tea with you with like roses and skull caps and blue lotus. And they burn mugwort and frankincense and herbs all around you. They set up altars with pictures and fruit. They light fires. They gather up underneath the stars with drums and songs. They pass around like cacao and psilocybin, you know?
Right.
And they go deep into meditation with you, and they help you enter through the veil so you can feel the person that you've loved one more time as a community, as a tribe with you. And they hold your hand as that medicine shows you the soul behind the loss. They go there with you so you're not by yourself. They cry with you. They grieve with you. They dance with you. You know, they don't just let you sit there. They get up and they let you collapse, cry with you, rage with you, scream with you until it's like a chorus.
Yeah.
Tribal, primal. If you were allowed to fully break, it would shift your entire lineage. What if your kids could see you grieve that way?
Yeah.
And even if you don't have kids, as a divine feminine, you don't have to have children by blood. Imagine the children that are around you.
That are looking up to you.
Or you have a friend that has kids, or you have brothers or sisters that have kids that know you and they see you go through this. It's almost like a birth.
Yeah.
Death is a lot like birth.
Right.
And they see you have this grief that's sacred.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would do for your nervous system.
Right. 100%.
If you learn to complete the emotional cycle instead of suppressing it. And that's what the divine feminine rage does.
Yes.
It helps you regulate your nervous system.
Because when you don't do that, it manifests physically. You wonder why everyone's so sick these days.
Yep.
It's because we're holding all this in. And it's poisoning us energetically and then physically.
Yep. We're suffering way longer than we should be suffering because we're not releasing it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not letting that rage come when it's supposed to.
Yeah. To help push it out.
And that's why we have anxiety and depression and all these supposed air quotes mental disorders.
For me, for the longest time, I never wanted to cry in front of my kids because I didn't want to freak them out. And then just over the last 5 years, I've made a point to be like, I'm struggling today, or to just communicate with them, you know, I'm having a hard time. And now they're more comfortable to cry in front of me and not to hold in their emotions.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
Right.
The rage is beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're talking about today. Really honoring that. And just think about it.
Yeah.
How powerful it is to be able to feel anger and grief and pain. And we're not just talking about losing somebody that you love, because that's probably the deepest. But we have pain losing even a job.
Yeah.
A relationship, even if it was toxic. When you lose somebody, a loss is a loss. And you can't compare it to anybody else's loss.
Yeah.
The same receptors in our brain and our nervous system, we feel it as an energetic shift. And we should be allowed to mourn it.
Yeah.
Even when you went through your relationship breakup last year,
Yeah.
it wasn't even in my mind to do a ceremony with you
Yeah.
or anything like that. I was there for you. And I feel like energetically, I was there 100% day in, day out for anything that you needed. But why didn't we do something like that, you know?
When my mom passed, I went back to work 2 days later. Instead of processing it and harnessing that rage, I wanted to distract myself from it.
Yeah.
And be numb. And it took me a decade to recover from that.
Yeah, and that's what they usually give you is 2 to 3 days after somebody passes, even if it's your own mother, your own child. You could lose a child and have to go back to work 3 days later.
Yeah.
Unfathomable in today's society, how we don't allow grief.
And this is us not preaching at you. This is us down in the trenches being like,
we're down here with you.
Same.
And things need to change
Yeah.
for the sake of our souls and our sanity. And we need to bring that tribal energy back into our bodies.
It's for your mental, physical, and energetic health.
Because the way that we're living now isn't correct.
It's not sustainable.
If you don't have a tribe, what do we do with that sacred rage when the village isn't there? When there is no circle of drums and hands on your back, nobody coming to rescue you or to witness you or to be around you. You know, what do you do when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and your heart's breaking and there's no elder or sisters or ritual fire or anything like that? You just have to honor it anyway.
Yeah.
And you have to become the tribe and the drum and the fire.
Yeah. Don't push it down.
Right. You have to light a candle and take the blanket and wrap it around yourself. Scream into a pillow until your voice disappears. And you have to let your body move. You cannot just lay there. It's okay to lay there for a little bit, but you can't stay like that. Shake your arms, shake your legs, shake your head, stomp your feet, cry and scream and freak the fuck out.
Yeah.
Sing and pray and all that stuff, because something inside you will start to remember. It is natural for us to do that.
Yeah.
But we've been so programmed that it's going to feel really weird at first. It's going to feel unnatural.
But after the fact, you're going to feel the results of it.
Let your soul remember. Make your own medicine. Make your teas with roses and Damiana and lion's mane.
Right.
Take spiritual baths and do all that stuff for yourself. And you can lay on the floor and ask your ancestors, even if you've never met them, even if you've been adopted, even if you have no clue who they are. And you can say, I'm ready now. I need you to come grieve with me. You can call in your ancestors to come help you.
Yeah. Or your spirit animal guides.
Yeah. And maybe you can't host a 7-day ceremony
Yeah.
in the middle of the forest, but you can take 7 minutes to let yourself feel something that nobody else made space for.
Yeah.
Rage doesn't need an audience.
Right.
I mean, it's really fucking dope if you have a spiritual team around you that can honor that and do that for you, but you don't need permission. And we're the first generation in a long time that is really actually trying to heal. And when we choose to honor that sacred rage without shame or apology, we start to return back to our roots, back to that original DNA, that pattern. And that's where the magic starts.
Yeah.
And then we start healing our ancestors, and we're showing our kids, like you were talking about earlier, we're showing our future generation how to do it.
Oh, I was watching a video today of a mother starting, I'll give you something, and the end of that is to cry about. And she was letting her daughter finish the sayings of things that our parents' generation would say to us. The little girl was finishing it like something new instead of something to cry about. And it was
okay.
Kids are meant to be, and the saying's supposed to be seen and not heard. And the little girl goes, kids are supposed to play and have fun when she finished it. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. It's so beautiful to see that, because I can see the healing of generations through that. It's beautiful. There are some rituals you can do as well if you're more so wanting something physical to do and something to see. You can stand in front of a mirror and speak your rage out loud, words that you've never wanted to say out loud. You can chant the name of maybe the person you've lost, or chant what you're wanting to get out of your body. And like Sadi was saying, you can light a candle in the dark and then sit in your discomfort and ask yourself, what am I hiding to make others comfortable? Because I do that. I've done that.
Right.
What truths have I buried? And then listen and let the dark reveal what it is. Because it's not about being comfortable, it's about growing. It's about going through it. And the dark feminine rage, that's the power that helps you move through those feelings. It is the tool. And when you tame it, you're stuck in that. You're stuck in that discomfort.
Yeah.
You're stuck in those feelings, and you end up absorbing them into your body, and it makes you sick, and you pass it on to generations.
Yeah. But the rage part, it's not just about like you've lost something. You can apply it to any part of your life where you have felt disrespected, dishonored, where you felt like you've been mistreated and you didn't use your voice.
And then made to feel crazy. One of my favorite lines from a Fiona Apple song is, you fondled my trigger, then you blamed my gun. I love that, because it is true. You are made to feel so unhinged for feeling your feelings.
Yeah. And especially with women, if you're a woman listening and you haven't been sexualized as a child,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying molested or anything like that, but I can remember being very young, just the way that men would look at me, or an uncle that hugged me the wrong way. You can just feel it.
And then you lose your self autonomy, because you have to give that uncle a hug. You don't have a say so as a child.
Yeah. And I'm really proud of a lot of women these days. They're raising their kids like, no, you don't have to give them a hug.
Exactly.
We're very much so coming out of that energy.
I love it.
And so I'm so proud of us now.
Yes.
It's not as bad as it used to be, but there are still little girls from the time we're little. You're so cute and you're so sweet and you're so pretty, and a lot of it has to do with our looks.
Yep.
With little boys, it kind of seems like, oh, you're so smart, or you're so good at fixing things or whatever, but a lot of our praise has to do with the way that we look, or how cute we are, how sweet we are.
Yep. Or being told, you can't show your stomach. Like, why can't we?
If you're acting crazy, if you're too loud, or, whatever, be like, oh, that's not attractive. We're programmed to brush a lot of things off that we really shouldn't.
Yeah.
And so that builds up over a period of time.
Oh, yeah.
And then it gets to the point where we're adults, we're still that way. And
Yeah.
people can walk on us. They can do things that are against our will. They can do things that cross our boundaries. And it's like, oh, well, I don't want to make them mad. I'm just not going to say anything because I don't want to lose my job. Or
yeah.
I don't want to say anything because I don't want to make him mad or her mad. And I don't want to start trouble. I don't want to gossip.
Or I don't want to end up having to defend myself. I don't want to have to go through that.
I just don't want to start shit. It's easier for me to just not say anything and walk away. And then you swallow it and you push it down. And then you end up freaking out on your kids. You're hurting yourself.
You are.
Because you're not processing it.
Or you end up hating all men.
Or you end up hating yourself.
Or both.
Yeah. The point of honoring your divine feminine rage is looking at it not as a negative, but as a positive reaction to deal with the energy that you have inside of you that is sacred.
Yes.
If you don't, it can boil over and it can be destructive behavior. You can end up in jail. You can end up in prison. There's a show called Snap.
Yep.
That's what happens when you suppress your divine feminine rage to a point where you cannot handle it anymore and you freak out and you come completely unglued and you have no control over it anymore. You completely come undone. You blank out.
Yeah.
Your pain has become so intense, whether it's through loss, heartbreak, or just suppression or whatever you've gone through, that you could completely disconnect. You could have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Or you could snap.
Yeah.
There's a multitude of different things that your body just cannot handle it.
Yeah.
So when you use it as a sacred tool, it's liberating.
Yeah.
It's freeing. You're using it as like a cleansing, like a fire. You're going through this sacred fire and you're doing it on purpose. And it can be very beautiful.
Yeah, because your rage is not a problem to be fixed. It's a compass pointing you back to your power. It's the dark feminine that doesn't ask for permission. She rises, she roars, and she reclaims. So when the fire comes, don't run. It's what we're trying to say. Embrace her, become it. And that's where your freedom lives. I believe that's all the tea we have to spill today. And as always, keep your minds open.
Namaste, bitches.